How to Train Your Dinosaur.
I was like, that's a movie I would see.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Unreal Talk. I'm Brian, that's Dave, and that's our executive editor, Jason.
Executive editor.
Because there's plenty others.
It's true.
So,
and my cat gets producer credit, so, I mean, we're just handing out titles.
Well, my baby is one of the lesser editors, if you recall.
Yeah. Fucking...
Any fingers on the keyboard is now editor.
And there's been plenty.
Yeah. Banging angrily and squealing at us.
Mm-hmm. So let's see, current events. So, Jurassic Park's going to be coming out in...
Again?
Yeah. Yet another Jurassic Park movie.
Now with 100% less Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't see him in the trailer, did I?
I don't think there's any original cast whatsoever. Whole new cast, unless you consider dinosaurs cast members.
And even then, I think it's new CGI.
It's like they brought back the T-Rex from the original movie because he was still alive at the end. They contacted his agent and brought him in to do this movie after what happened in the last couple of movies.
Yeah. And then, of course, the Velociraptors had all, evolved into birds by then because, by the end of the third movie, they were feathered.
Yeah, they were feathered and chirping and talking to each other. And now in the new movie, they're like, oh my god, the dinosaurs are communicating. Like, guess what? I already saw it.
But those didn't happen.
See, you gotta give it to them at least for... The whole feathers thing actually follows real science, at least. I mean, we actually found dinosaurs, not primitive birds, that had feathers embedded in the fossil around them. So, I mean...
Well, that's actually what happened between the Jurassic Park movies, because the reason why they added the feathers, from what I read, was because the Utah raptor, the mummified raptor they found in Utah that actually had feathers. They'd theorized it, but they'd never actually seen it before. So by the time Jurassic Park 3 came out, they were like, well, I guess we should probably add the feathers in there, even though at this point now it didn't make sense in the Jurassic Park universe that they had them.
Hey, that's why I don't talk to scientists. Motherfuckers are lying and getting me pissed. Fucking dinosaurs, how do they work?
Animatronics and CGI.
Yeah. It's like, Steven Spielberg, that's how it works.
Well, yeah. Not to dissuade you from your science comment, but they actually use the same gimbals they use on flight simulators for astronauts and pilots. Was the base of the T-Rex for the first two movies,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they're adapting the technology to make better stuff, especially when it comes to movies
and space travel.
Yes,
simultaneously.
And space travel in movies with dinosaurs in the spaceships, just like on Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they fucked something up? So you got the space shuttle going up, right? And all of a sudden it starts making like fucking Tyrannosaurus noises.
Cut to the next scene, the space shuttle is now a T-Rex, just floating in space.
Well, if they'd made Jurassic Park 4 back when they wanted to, that's not too far from what it was going to be. It's going to be half human, half dinosaur, and then 10% gun. All in the same creature.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that didn't happen.
10% gun. Because, dinosaurs aren't enough of a problem. Actually, that reminds me of, there was a TV show from back in the 80s where it was like, aliens showed up and were taking over dinosaurs with mind control stuff.
Oh, is that cartoon?
Yeah, where they put the weapons rigs on the dinosaurs and they were controlling them.
I remember that. I don't remember what it was called.
Fucking cool show.
I saw it. I don't remember.
Dinosaurs? No. That was another crazy-ass show. Dino Riders, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Dino Riders.
Familiar.
But yeah, that was like everything cool you could ever want as a kid. It's like guns, dinosaurs, aliens. There's nothing you can't win with there.
Yep, and that's what they would have gone for Jurassic Park 4.
Wait, that sounds like it's basically a pitch away from being a Michael Bay movie now. Crap.
Yeah.
Michael Bay, we know you're watching. No ideas.
Yeah.
That's next, Dino Riders. And you're to blame for this.
Not my fault.
His blood will be on your hands. I'm just saying.
As long as I get a cut of that check that he did.
The original Jurassic Park was so iconic, though, in regards to just pop culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it really drove a lot of interest in dinosaurs. In fact, I wanted to be a paleontologist for like 5 minutes after I saw that movie. But then I realized that to be a paleontologist, it's kind of like playing Minecraft professionally. I mean, like, okay, just take it for example. Let's say, okay, you want to dig up dinosaur bones. Where do you go looking?
In the ground?
Yeah, but where? I mean, it's not like there's any particular indicators that tell you where you should be looking. For all we know, there's an entire nest of dinosaur bones under this apartment complex.
Well, no.
They just haven't dug that far down.
It's not necessarily like that. I mean, paleontology, it's 80% geology and another 18% dirt. And then 2% actual dinosaurs.
Like, dig, 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 dig.
And then 1% gun. Only 1%.
But you can tell from how, geologically, how the strata has moved against itself, whether or not you're going to be able to find something that's old enough to be dinosaur or fossil. Because paleontology isn't just dinosaurs.
But like, even if I peeled back the entire surface of the Earth to that particular layer, there's still dinosaur bones in it, like, here and there. It's not like they're everywhere.
Right.
So, even if you knew what level to dig at, you'd still have the entire world, and you'd just be like, that looks like a good spot. Grab a shovel. And then you dig down till you hit the next layer, and you're like, well, nothing here. Start digging around it and around it. And it's just like, it just seems like such a hit or miss process that, like, they don't show you in the movies, because all they want to show you is like, oh, we found the dinosaur, brush the bones off, put the tarp on it so the dirt doesn't get back on it. But they don't show you the part where Dr. Grant and Dr. Statler are sitting there like, Jesus, fuck, this is the third hole and we haven't found any fucking dinosaurs.
Well, that's why they invented that shotgun tire hand truck looking thing.
Yeah, that sonar blaster.
So they could dig without digging.
Yeah.
It's like, boom.
And
no dinosaurs.
I guarantee there's not a paleontologist on the planet that would look at that sideways and be like, I don't think I like this new technology. It's like, I don't have to spend 3 months in the desert digging through hundreds of feet of rock to not find anything.
Exactly. It's like, if you have a vague idea where a skeleton is, then okay, sure. But otherwise, it's like trying to find diamonds in Minecraft.
Where's the fun in that?
You have a general idea that you have to go down deep to find them, but you could dig an area as big as my apartment and then miss the diamond because it was an extra 2 blocks that way that you didn't see.
Well, that's, how fossils work. You got to think the math is stacked up all against you, because you got, number one, you need sedimentary, flowing water. So you need a river or the edge of, the ocean, an estuary, something where water is going to be depositing stuff over it. And if you think about it, that means mostly it's going to be water creatures that are fossilized. So finding like a land dinosaur is going to be pretty rare, because if they're going to water, they're probably not going to die. So you got that going against you. Then the fact that it is flowing water means that it's going to get carried away, it's going to get chopped up, it's going to get eaten up by fishes,
destroyed by erosion,
all that stuff. And then the whole Earth does its geological, let's rearrange the entire strata type shit. And it's like, you get to the point where a very tiny fraction of what did exist you can even hope to be fossilized. Mm-hmm. And then, like you said, it's very few locations on Earth where that has been brought back up over time. So, it's like, and it turned to rock.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those bones aren't even a different material anymore. They're really, really close to the rock that it's sitting next to. So you're lucky if you can even find something. Like you said, you could be a few feet off of something.
Yeah.
It's like trying to find a particular hay needle in a stack of hay.
Well, then comes the second part there. Most of the original dinosaurs that they created didn't exist. Like, they just found these bones and they just pieced them together the best way they could. So, I remember seeing, I forget what they actually called it, but their first try at a Tyrannosaurus basically had, like, human-like arms that were actually from something else, and it was all, like, almost Godzilla. Legs. Yeah, it was almost like Godzilla-looking how it looked.
Yeah. Well, that's a double-edged sword, because there were, scientists, but there's also the fact that, like, in the early days when dinosaurs were absolutely exploding in popularity, and the museums wanted they wanted the people coming in, and people loved dinosaurs, so they were scrambling to put together any kind of exhibit they could. So they'd have one skull here and a leg bone over there, and whole chunks of it missing. So
I don't even know what the fuck this is, but put it on a pedestal anyway.
Throw it together, make something out of it. We'll figure it out later.
Like, what's
Just get
this?
people in here.
Like, it's a cow skull. Fuck it, let's put it on this one's shoulder. This one had 2 heads.
Yeah, that's not far from how it was. And
It's like, that's a lump of dirt. No, it's fossilized dinosaur shit.
Which you can buy an awful lot of coprolite.
Well, there's that.
right? And until all of my moving adventures made me lose all my stuff, I had a couple coprolites, fossilized poop.
Yeah. Kind of funny, isn't it? Because, if dinosaurs were alive today and you collected their shit, people would look at you funny.
I mean, unless you were a farmer or some, maybe it'll be a fertilizer. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, what if we have dinosaurs in the future? Like, very near future.
Yeah, I mean, they are working on it, scientists, geneticists, with the best they can. I mean,
They're still lying and getting me pissed.
I think the idea that I like the most is from John Horner. Jack Horner? I don't know,
Jack
he's sitting in the corner, thumbing a pie. But he actually proposed the idea that you could reverse engineer by just hitting genetic switches birds from today. So you could, take a chicken and turn off the gene that turns his, teeth into a beak, and then it could just grow up with teeth, and turn its, feathers into scaly skin and all that. And
I've heard that. Actually,
dino chicken.
was it last year? Scientists took mouse cells and they reverse engineered them, and they turned into some sort of weird like jellyfish thing. And you can look it up. You can look it up later. Maybe there'll be a link to the study. Don't ever quote us on anything I say there'll be a link to. You should learn that by now.
If we can't find the link, I'll just cut this part out.
Yeah. See, that's what happens when you have a good editor.
Where?
Just cut shit out when you don't like it.
It's like, what? This conversation wasn't going anywhere. Just cut it out.
Yeah. But no, it's actually quite interesting. They couldn't keep it alive because it didn't eat.
Well, yeah, I think being the first of its kind, it probably would have been quite confused as to what the fuck it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And see, the second Jurassic Park book, anyway, visits that. And they, why are certain dinosaurs behaving in such crazy-ass ways that we never would have thought they would have? And it's because they didn't have anything teaching them how to act. And they didn't have that initial... They didn't have a parent showing them how to do it. Because, any complex creature, horses can walk when they're born, but they still have to be pretty much socially taught how to behave in their group. And, velociraptors, they've made a huge population with no parent velociraptors to teach them how to act. And
it's like if you just left a human alone from the time it was born up until middle age, if you just provided it with food and water.
You get powder.
Yeah.
Do you know, mammals actually have, or I should say humans actually have the largest penises of most mammals? You can't really count. No, it's true. Proportionately.
Okay, I am going to call bullshit, but I'm not going to explain why I know enough to call bullshit.
Proportionately. Don't forget, some animals don't actually have penises, they have bones. The more you know.
I'm not putting a floating star over it. No, it's not.
A penis, with the star over the head, and it just comes out.
I don't want to think about what trail it's leaving behind it as it's going across the screen.
Probably
white
blood,
sparkle.
since it's been cut from the... If the head's going that way and the end's like a bloody fountain behind it.
Do, 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 do.
Anyway, yeah, I call bullshit on that.
But speaking of sex and stuff,
Butt sex.
yeah, I do like there's a theory that the reason the Tyrannosaurus Rex still has little tiny arms, they haven't gone away, and they're for sex.
How does that work?
Well, see, there's other creatures that have little things, especially some of the sea creatures that used to have legs and they've lost them, except little tiny ones that are for tickling and rubbing erogenous zones that basically put the other one in the mood. So that was one idea that, you know, all they need is two little fingers to stick out a little bit, and they can kind of come up to the lady and just
Like, what a...
give them a little song.
Give him a little tickle.
You know.
Find that Jurassic G spot. Yeah.
Couldn't really call it a reach around with those little arms. But,
Let me give you a back rub, baby. Rub your back.
Time went on, and they just became ostriches.
And then there's the question of how did dinosaurs have sex? I mean, okay, the basic... It's kind of like birds. I mean, you have to jump on top of one and the other, and then there's angling questions, you know.
yeah, but you could ask the same question of turtles and whales and...
Yeah, but I've seen that. I can see a video online of that. I can't... I mean, you let me know where I can find some T-Rex fucking videos.
It's like, okay,
I'll watch them.
the T-Rex comes up, and it does the, this is Sparta kick to the female. So they fall forward so that their tail's up in the air, right? And then the big T-Rex grabs it by his little arms and just starts, you know, because there's where the arms come in. And of course...
It's one of those things, there's like, every other animal, you could be like, well, it's been seen, so that's how it happens.
Yeah, but if you showed somebody a picture of a turtle that asked them how they have sex, and they hadn't seen it, they'd have to think about it for a bit. Yeah. But apparently they had sex okay.
But anyway, yeah, it's the ones who knew how to survive. And as you know, inherent intelligence is genetic. People that are intelligent usually have intelligent children.
Right, but see, that's denoting the idea that there weren't dinosaurs that were going through the same struggle, you know, because there were small dinosaurs. When we say dinosaur, we're thinking big, prompy, brah, brah, brah.
Yeah, but there
were...
The struggle is real.
You know, they were smallish creatures. I mean, some of the largest populations we've found are, like, you know, protoceratopsians, the smaller... You know, even Triceratops and stuff. They were about the size of a, you know, medium to large dog.
Yeah, even the Velociraptor that was so prominent in the Jurassic Park movies, the standard Velociraptor was about 3 feet tall.
Well, that's also because they mistook the Velociraptor for the Deinonychus, the Deinonychus.
Dilophosaur.
Which is like, there's the raptor's like this big, but the Deinonychus is actually like the same thing, but like 3 feet bigger.
Yeah, well, they did eventually find a species of Velociraptor that was about 6 feet tall, but this was actually after all this.
From what I know of the story, because I've read all the books, you know, I've read behind the scenes of Jurassic Park, the commentaries, the whole making of, stuff like that. They were making the book into a movie, and Steven Spielberg is just going through production. But as all the paleontologist, you know, supporters and collaborators that he was working with were telling him that there weren't any raptors that big. There weren't any dromaeosaurid species that were that large. And he's calling people around the planet saying, like, is there nothing? Can we not do anything? I've already got these robots and suits and, you know, people working on stuff. Is there nothing we can do? And Robert Bacher, just tall, cowboy hat wearing, pretty much a guy very much that Sam Neill was based on, just without the big bushy beard.
Yeah, I remember that guy. Actually, if you ever played the Sega Genesis Jurassic Park game... Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. He was the one who'd give you tips or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah. A little 8-bit face come in with the hat and the beard. Yeah, and that's Robert Bacher.
Do this.
Yeah.
So he was one of my favorites as I was growing up with dinosaurs. But anyway, he actually, you know, he's pretty predominant in the Midwest of America, and he's the one that found, midway through pre-production of Jurassic Park, found Utah Raptor.
Yeah.
Which... yeah, stood probably about 5 to 6 feet tall at the shoulder and was big enough to actually justify Steven Spielberg making something that large.
See, the thing is, Dr. Grant says, I think it was in the third one, he's like, you know, John Hammond didn't create dinosaurs. He created genetically modified monsters. Yeah, so basically, okay, fine. Velociraptor was yay big. Okay, well, thanks to some genetic oopsing, because we're piecing together DNA the way I would put together 4 different jigsaw puzzles... Yeah, sure, most of the pieces still fit together. We just have to cram a few in where they don't quite work. So all of a sudden you wind up with a Velociraptor that's this big and has turkey wings.
Yeah. Well, that's also kind of one of the main points, I think, about the new Jurassic Park movie that's coming out. From what I understand, a big point as far as how the dinosaurs end up getting out in that movie was because of the new, like, you know, super intelligent... whatever it was they created. What did they call that?
Indominus Rex.
Oh, yeah, that's it. The Indominus Rex.
which looks more or less like a T-Rex.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed when they could have gone in any direction because literally they're just pulling a dinosaur out their ass.
Yeah, and it's like, literally, you tell these people, make us the biggest, most badass dinosaur ever, and they make a T-Rex that's like 4 feet taller. And it's like, you couldn't even give him spines?
10%.
Horns?
10% gun.
Yeah, 10% gun. So it whips around and its tail's got a minigun on it. Like, oh, shit.
It's like, zip.
Fucking fold-out arm cannons.
Yeah.
It's like, why does it have missile launchers on its shoulders? Focus groups.
It's like the new Batman. I'm gonna get into that. Right.
It also goes back to like the scientific reason why there couldn't possibly be a Loch Ness monster, because something that big needs food, and it needs a lot of food. So the bigger something is, the more it's going to eat. If we had too many giant things running around, there wouldn't be any food left in like that period of time.
Well, especially in a lake environment. If it's living in a lake, there's only so much food that a species could survive.
And even in the ocean itself, okay, fine, you want to talk about the giant squids and the, monsters under the water that we can't see because they're just so deep down. Like, well, they have to be eating something. And if they had to come to the surface to get food, yeah.
Some of the largest animals on Earth, like the blue whale, eats just plankton, like microscopic plankton.
Yeah, and that's one blue whale.
Yeah.
And it just, it eats shrimp, basically. It lives on appetizers for all of eternity.
Yeah. But that's how it survives, because something that big wouldn't be able to continually feed on, well, they wouldn't be able to...
Well, it's like the shark monster thing in the new Jurassic Park preview.
The Pleurodon! Woo!
They fucking hang a great white shark over there, like, oh, by the way, Spielberg, here's Jaws. Boom! One shot. And it's like, okay, so something that big in the ocean, you couldn't have more than a few of them at any given time, or you'd run out of ocean. And food. And ocean food.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first movie, we see, all the dinosaurs on the land. And then the second one, there's dinosaurs on the land, and there's ones in the air, because, and then you see more of that in the third one. But really, they've never gotten into the water dinosaurs, because it'd be kind of hard to control them. Can't imagine that thing just sitting in its tank waiting for the next show.
But that's what they probably had the thing trained like a dolphin at SeaWorld at that point.
That's like the fucking island security. If you try to bring a boat too close, a giant mouth comes out and takes your whole boat, and it's like, whoops. Should have read the no trespassing sign.
I was going to say, that might have been the problem. They didn't really care that much about the storm, because, big boats can handle storms, but what they weren't telling you in Jurassic Park, the first movie, is that there's a freaking Pleurodon pen surrounding the island where they're actually making them.
One giant wave, and that thing's going to come flopping down on the visitor center like an angry fish. Like, oh god.
Now, for the fifth movie, they're going to train Pleurodons and have them doing...
like bouncing giant balls on their nose.
We'll be riding them like SeaWorld.
Actually, for the fifth movie, that's where the storm's going to come in, and there's going to be a tornado of Pleurodons.
Pleurodonado.
Well, I hope Tara Reid's available. I remember the Jurassic Park toys that came out when the movie came out had the little sections of tearaway skin that had exposed bone and muscle under them. Yeah. So your T-Rex could be like, roar, and scrape some pieces off of the Triceratops. And I was like, damn, that's cool. Until you lost the fleshy part that came over it.
Or the people on the InGen trucks came with those usually, remember? And they would have like a dinosaur. Like you could capture the dinosaur and then accidentally damage it.
It's got battle damage because humans are monsters.
Humans fuck up. They're just trying to catch it, but now its ribs are exposed.
I was like, guys, we gave you a choke line and a truck. How did this thing wind up with a piece of its ribs missing? Like,
we were hungry.
Someone might have had a gun. Like, you know how Mr. Hammond feels about the guns.
Like, we should stop hiding.
Like, don't do it! Don't shoot anything! That was like the stupidest shit in Jurassic Park. I mean, I probably would have knocked John Hammond on his ass 5 minutes into that situation, because I would have grabbed the biggest fucking gun I could find, and I would have been like this the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, head of security, Mr. Schwarzenegger, what do you think? Old Painless here.
Yeah. Him and Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, let's just get the entire cast of Predator and have them as the security guards who work for Murdoch.
I wouldn't want the angry Indian guy, though.
Well, I don't know. You turn him loose on the raptors, you might just start biting chunks out of them.
Or the raptors might surround him and he'd just be like, what's up?
See, I think it's different. He probably would have trained the raptors from the beginning. We wouldn't have even gotten all the way to number 4.
Yeah.
He'd just been the raptor whisperer. Puts his hand out and is talking to him.
It's like big Indian guy's up on the wood log, and he's like, T-Rex comes out and roars in his face, and he's like, Rah! And the T-Rex is all like, and just like backs up with his tail between his legs, like, yeah, I thought so.
How to Train Your Dinosaur.
I was like, that's a movie I would see. How to Train Your Dinosaur in 3D.
I was going to say, why haven't they done that parody video yet? They probably have.
I'm waiting for the How to Train Your Dragon porno.
You're waiting for everything to be a porno.
Well, because statistically speaking, I've got better luck waiting for it to be a porno than you've got waiting for it to be a sequel.
I'm just talking about a 5-minute YouTube fan fiction video.
So is Dave.
Whatever.
We all know he needs longer than 5 minutes, though.
That's because edging is important. As a friend of mine once told me. How many conversations would we end with someone going, It's like every time I talk to my parents, that happens at least once.
See, no, I think that's a sound you end up hearing more than just about any of us.
Yeah.
It's the relief of the end of that train of thought.
That's the quietly giving up the conversation noise. It's like, that's as good as waving a white flag. It's like if you just were like, I quit, I'd be like, yep. And then instead it's just like, it's like, I acknowledge I'm not going to win this, so I'm going to move on. I think some of my favorite things involve dinosaurs, and I like that they seem to be everywhere. Like, even in the Dresden Files, there's one point where, it's not even really a spoiler, because it's all over the internet anyway, but he winds up at one point reanimating a T-Rex skeleton with necromancy. Because he can't do it to humans, because it's against the laws of magic, but he's like, I need something necromantic. And he's in Chicago at the Field Museum where they have Sue, the largest, it actually exists, this T-Rex skeleton. It's the largest complete skeleton. Because it is actually a dinosaur skeleton that exists. And a lot of people don't know this, but when you go see a dinosaur skeleton in a museum, a lot of the time what you're actually seeing on display are plaster casts of the original bones, and the original bones are kept somewhere safely off to the side. But this particular skeleton in Chicago is the largest complete Tyrannosaurus skeleton on display. And he animates it and uses it to eat a shitload of zombies and kill a group of necromancers.
So
like a boss.
That is kind of bossy. But pretty much just to bring it back from your fantasy Dresden land, which is fine, which is cool. I mean, there's really good reasons to make, replicas of your bones if you're going to be making displays out of them, because you're going to have to drill metal into them for
supports.
For supports, not only that, but if you start drilling into them and leaving them out for public view, your humidity and your oxygen and all these things and your temperature and your children
in general
are going to ruin them. And who knows, what if a storm came by and blew some of the windows out and something fell on it and crushed it all up? You lose that specimen that sat there for millions of years for us to wait to find it.
Or if some maniac took it out to fight necromancers and forgot to put it back at the end of the battle.
I don't think museums have necromancer insurance.
I'm just saying. It's like somebody breaks into the Field Museum and makes off with your skeleton, and they find it in the middle of a park somewhere, surrounded by dead bodies.
But if you were a necromancer and could bring bones back to life, you would go down to that museum's storage facility and have 32 dinosaurs.
Yeah. You'd be looking like Chris Pratt riding a motorcycle with velociraptors all around you. It was like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
There's enough down there in their storage facilities. I mean, most of what they put on display, end up putting on display is a tiny fraction of what's actually in storage waiting to be worked on.
And that's actually one of the benefits of 3D printing technology becoming so prominent, is that you could actually, like, well, shit, I found this pile of dinosaur teeth. scan them, 3D print them, paint them up so they look real, put them in your display case, and just put the dinosaur teeth in storage somewhere.
That, and even like the other, end of it, like 3D scanning, is getting penetrative, fMRI and, X radiology and all this other kind of stuff, that, the high advanced, being able to see the difference in the molecular densities of things. You can get super high detailed, scans of fossils without even having to dig them out of the dirt, just like we were talking about with that shotgun thing. But now we can get full three-dimensional views of it, and they're so accurate that if we were to try to break it out of that rock and dirt that it's stuck in, it would destroy half of it, if not more, of the integrity of it. So, and then we can 3D print it.
Actually,
amazing.
Yeah, there's a tablet. I was reading about this yesterday. It just went on sale for $500, but still considered a prototype, I guess. They haven't worked out the bugs. It's a 3D scanning tablet. It has 3 or 4 cameras on the back, and you basically can create, three-dimensional scans that you can put into devices or what have you. It's also, they're going to link it up to Oculus and other devices like that too, to help out with altered reality, or what do they call that? Augmented. There we go. Augmented reality. Though, they do have mummified dinosaurs that they found. I wonder how that tastes.
It was like leftover dino jerky.
Yeah, exactly. But, I've never eaten dinosaur jerky.
See, that would be the thing that I really want to see at Jurassic Park, the gift shop.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Okay, they showed it for like 5 seconds in the visitor center. They had like the lunchboxes and the t-shirts and shit. I'm like, okay.
Dino meat?
Yeah, exactly. Like that dead Triceratops. Okay, fine. It died. You could make a hell of a lot of beef jerky out of that.
Why did it die?
Because it was poisoned?
Exactly.
It's because
it was poisonous to them. We call it seasoning.
See, you don't go to a zoo and find giraffe jerky.
I totally would, though.
I know you'd buy it.
You could find it online.
There are people that would, but you don't go to a zoo and you don't find. You're not buying an actual tiger's
claw. Let's break it down even more. Let's say they breed 1 in every 10 brontosauruses, let them grow up, and then kill them for meat. Bronto burgers. Do it Flintstone style with the fucking rack of ribs. Like hook it on the side of your table and knock everything over.
It could be a whole side part.
Exactly.
Yeah. Flintstonia.
It's just like make a couple of Triceratopses and turn them into hamburgers. And then be like, yo, Triceratops burger. You're not getting this anywhere else but Jurassic Park.
This Tricera meat is the tops.
And now a word from our sponsors.
It's Dizzy Dizzy Dinosaur! Dizzy Dizzy Dinosaur knocks you out as he moves about. Dizzy Dizzy Dinosaur, he's real nice till you roll the dice. Dizzy Dizzy Dinosaur, yeah, he's a silly beast to say the least. He got me, he got you, not me. Dizzy Dizzy Dinosaur, be lucky and smart or it's back to start. Dizzy Dizzy Dinosaur, turns and spins till someone wins. Yeah, Dizzy Dizzy Dinosaur from Pressman.
Because immediately, you got it and you made it and you want to patent it. And now you want to sell it. You want to sell it. And you want to put it in the lunchboxes. 2 Goldblums in this episode.
You got Goldbloomed.
That's right. All over the place.
Dino bacon.
But yeah,
bitches.
I think the gift shop at Jurassic Park would be fucking cool. Even beyond just like, yeah, okay, fine. We're going to take the tour and we might see a dinosaur pop up here or there. But then you get to the gift shop and it's like, wait, is that actual non-fossilized dinosaur poop? That's awesome.
It's like, oh shit!
Literally.
Tie it up, take it home.
No, see, that's the kind of thing they would have. Like, there would be industries that you don't even see that would be built on it. Like, there'd be farmers buying that poop at top dollar to fertilize their food, and then they'd be selling that food as
And people complain about GMOs. What are you going to tell them about Triceratops fertilizer?
They kind of touched on it, I think, in the book. The idea of having side industries, based on just the stuff that is the waste products. You've got dead animals. You can sell their skin and their flesh. And,
And what museum wouldn't want a fresh set of dinosaur bones after all the old moldy ones they've been getting?
But see, and that brings it back to the argument of would it be accurate?
Yeah. Because they're making movie monsters and not dinosaurs.
Yeah, but that gets into the whole genetics you know, the reality of genetics, because of course, I've studied it, read multiple books. You know, it's not so simple as, oh, we have this genetic code, it's missing this chunk, so let's just put some stuff in there and throw it over here.
That's very
because if you take a piece of DNA out of a frog and put it over here, it's going to behave like that frog did. No. It's a couple of amino acids.
It's going to be bad either way.
The complexity between putting an amino acid in one place and how life behaves at the other end doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Which is why summer blockbusters are not terribly scientific, because that would get boring in a hurry.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the second Jurassic Park book, The Lost World, they kind of go into that. Like, there's a huge production facility where, like, 0.5% of what they actually created ends up working and becomes a living creature.
Isla Nubla was just a showroom, something for the tourists. Site B was the factory floor. That was on Aina Sauna, 80 miles from Nubla. We bred the animals there and nurtured them for a few months and then moved them into the park.
Like, oh wait, this one's actually sticking. Send that one to Hammond.
Yeah. You know, Richard and John Attenborough are brothers. So you have the naturalist who does all the nature movies, and then his actual real-life brother is the guy that started the dinosaur park that kills all the people.
Well, there you go, see? It's a diverse family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I think this is probably good on a...
Yeah, I think this is as far as we're going to get in rational discussion on dinosaurs.
Yeah. On a Jurassic level of...
Which doesn't even make sense, because a lot of the dinosaurs that they use were so far separated from each other.
Yeah, from different...
Almost all of the dinosaurs are from the Cretaceous period, which came before.
Although Cretaceous
is
Park?
Closer than the Jurassic period was. Just Cretaceous Park doesn't sound as good.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds more like a lobster habitat.
Cretaceous. I know, Cretaceous sounds pretentious. Which is...
Crustaceous, like crabs and lobsters and now...
Oh, I want to make a crustaceous park.
Giant lobsters, crabs the size of houses.
They're like, how did you make these? Like, well, I caught them out of the bay and I just kind of put them there.
Shrimps that are 10% gun.
They just have them taped on there.
It's like one of the things we do when we bring them in is cover them in radioactive waste.
For the best.
One out of 1,000 lobsters grows into enormous size. The rest of them just kind of melt.
Well, this one got Dave's DNA on it, and now it craves pizza.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, most things on the planet have Dave's DNA on it.
At this point, probably. I'm like Genghis Khan, but more productive.
Anyway, if you like this video or series of videos, subscribe, like, comment down below several times.
And don't forget to share the video, because it really is like sharing a gimmick you're repeatedly stealing from another show.
It's like sharing heroin.
Or sharing Dave's DNA.
You don't share your drugs.
Unless you're one of them rich people.
Yeah, no. Well, if you're rich, you don't have to pay for them anyway.
So go on out, get drunk, watch your Honey Boo Boo, and get eaten by a Tyrannosaurus. So
and don't forget to do the Chubby Bunny Challenge, because that was fucking retarded.
Chubby Bunny Challenge.
Maybe that's what happened to the dinosaurs. They've been playing Charlie Charlie.
That could be an episode all by itself.
What happened to the dinosaurs? We should come up with theories.
The Ice Age. Fuck you, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And fuck you, Joel Schumacher.
Thanks for watching Unreal Talk.
If you take the crime family in the Goonies and replace them with cars and trucks, it all makes sense.